How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be making a friends widget that is going to display our Steam friends info and allow us to invite them to our game. It's a pretty straightforward process. It doesn't take too long at all. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it by starting with our widgets folder or wherever you keep your widgets. We're just going to go in here and create a new widget, and this is going to be our friends widget, or we'll call it our friends list. Inside of this friends list, we are going to create two widget blueprints. They are going to be friends info. And then we're going to create another one, and this is going to be friends list because this is actually where our info is going to go to. So starting off in our friends info, all we're going to do is delete the canvas panel and get a horizontal box and drag it in like so. In this horizontal box, the only thing you are going to need is text and then a button beside of it with some text inside of that button. The text we are going to rename to player name, just so we know what it is. Our button is going to be our invite button. And the text inside of the invite button is just going to read invite. We're going to change the font just for people with larger or longer names. We'll say 18 for that. And for the names, we will say 16. We're going to keep them bold just so they're easier to read. And we'll go ahead and get started with getting the player name set up. So the player name, all we're going to do is go over to the text and create a new binding. We can drag out this return node. All we're going to need is a new variable. This is going to be called friends info. The variable type is just going to be BP friends info. We will compile and save, drag this out, and all you do is split it, get our display name, and drag that into the return value. That's going to create a toText, so that means that whenever it gets this info, which we'll get it from the friends list itself whenever it's created, once it gets this info, it is going to pass along the display name, and that is what is going to set our text in the very beginning right here. To get the invite button working, we're going to delete all three of these because we don't need them. For this invite button, we do an on-clicked event. Whenever you click this button, all we're going to do is send a session invite to friend. For the player controller, we get our own player controller. And for the friend unique ID, all you do is drag out friends info again, right click to split it, and right here's your unique ID, which, well, it's your friends. So now we have a way to get to actually send the invite to our friend. We also have a way to get the player name, and that was just created by right here. We just created a binding. We are actually finished up with friends info, so we'll close out of that. We'll move on to friends list. The only thing we're doing here is deleting the canvas panel again. We will do a background blur, and we will size this up to the right resolution. For this blur, we'll just do like 20 for the blur strength. That looks good. All we're going to need in this background blur is a scroll box. And we are going to click on scroll box and set scroll bar visibility to hidden. We will also rename this to friends list parent. This will be friends info parent actually. And we're going to make this a variable. So we will delete this event tick and this pre-construct. And all we're going to do here is get and store our friends list. The player controller is going to be get owning player. The results here, we are going to drag those out and do a for each loop. And just connect that up to the on success. And we are going to make it to where only online players are displayed in our friends list. So we drag off this array element and we just click on break BP friend info. On this online state, we're just going to do a switch and hook that up into the loop body. Now what this allows you to do is to filter through the online state of your friends and only do certain things off certain outputs. So obviously, since we're just doing a friends list, we are just going to off the online, we will create a widget. The widget is going to be our player info. Now the way that we are actually going to pass on our friends list is, let's see here. I must have forgot to have done it. Yeah, so in our friends info, this variable that we created needs to be public and editable. Sorry, I forgot about that. So now if we recompile, maybe if we switch it. Yeah, okay. So now if we recompile and just select the friends info again, as you can see, friends info is there now, the variable. So that's how information is going to be passed on to get the unique net ID and to also get the player name of our friend. So now we actually don't need that anymore. And all we're going to do is, off of this array element, which is our friends info, we're just going to drag this over and populate that friends info variable on our info widget. And I'm just going to make some reroute nodes here because I got to make it look nice. To get our owning player, all we need to do is drag off of the owning player from right here. And once again, we'll make some reroutes just to keep things clean. So what we have so far is whenever friends list is constructed or called, we get and store our friends list. It gets all the results. It'll break them, search through the ones that say that they are online, and then it'll create the friends info. And all we're going to do from here is drag off this parent, which is our scroll bar, our scroll box, and we just add child. If I knew how to spell. We just hook that in there. The content is going to be our friends info, and that is going to be all we need to do to set up our actual friends list. For testing purposes, I'm going to hook in offline and away players as well, just so I can show you what it looks like. But like I said, this is just a way for you to sort through who is and is not online, so you're not displaying offline people or friends. We are finished up here. All we need to do is go to wherever you are storing this, wherever you want your friends list to appear. So in my case, I'm doing it in my lobby. I don't want people to be able to be invited after the game has already started, so that's why I'm doing it in my lobby. All we're going to need to do is set up a vertical box. Like I said, you can do this in any of your widgets. You can do it in your HUD, your pause menu, your main menu, just wherever you want to do it. So like I said, we got a vertical box. We will name this to friends list so we know what it is, because obviously it's never going to be populated in the editor. All this is going to need is a scroll box. We'll drag that in there like so. And we are actually going to make sure that that's set to fill. And we're going to do the same thing with the scroll bar visibility, set it to hidden, just so there's not a white bar sitting there all the time. All we need after that is a button underneath to toggle it on and off, as well as some text inside that button. And the text is just going to say friends. We'll make this, we'll make this a bit bigger. And you want to make sure you parent or anchor the entire thing to wherever you're putting it. So the only thing that we need to do now is on this on this button. Whoops. Actually, the scroll box, you want to make it a variable. We'll rename it to friends list parent. We're going to make sure that's a variable. Now on this button for the on-clicked event, for the on-clicked of this of the friends list button, we are going to drag off that and do a flip-flop. Off of the A, we are going to create a widget. That widget is going to be friends list, which we have just finished up. It's not going to have an owning player, it doesn't need one. And off of this return value, we are going to want to get our friends list parent right here, drag it out and get it, and we just add child. Hook everything in how it's supposed to be. The content is going to be our friends list. And for this B, we are just going to drag off the return value and remove it from parent. This will remove the friends list from your screen. We'll drag this down, give it a comment. We will say it creates the friends list and destroys it. So now if we click play and we go into our server, as you can see, friends is right there. If we click on it, nothing happens. That is because to actually use the Steam subsystem, you have to launch the game. So we will launch it, give it a second to load up, and once that's loaded up, I'll show you all what it looks like. Just double checking to make sure everything has been covered. And it looks like it has. So now if we click on host server, as you can see, we're in our lobby and Steam is also working. If I can see everyone who's online, the same as any other game that uses Steam. And if we wait a second for this to go away, okay, now that it's gone away, I just realized that I misspelled that. But if we click on it, as you can see, it creates it. It'll list all of my friends, and I can invite people just by clicking the button. I don't have a way to show that this is working. However, the fact that it created it at all means that it got the info correctly, and the fact that the button was pressed should mean that a session invite was sent to their unique net ID, which is so it didn't send it to the wrong player or anything like that. Once they get the invite, it'll just pop up as a message, and once they accept it, it will load a little, and then it will join the game. That is all that I have to show you for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any more questions, feel free to message me on Discord. Other than that, you all have a good one.